Hi, I'm Alison Jane and a warm welcome to the Fascia Lift Method. So are you struggling with slightly sagging jawline, less defined than it used to be, and doesn't matter how much exercise or facial yoga, it's not just getting quite right? Well, in today's video, we are going to be doing the jawline fascia chain. So basically working on the jawline, but also importantly working on the masseter muscle and also the temporal muscle here, just by the temples in front of the ear, by releasing any tight fascia. Then finishing off with the all-important lymphatic drainage, so we're detoxifying around the lower part of the face. Now, first things first, you want to start off with clean skin, and I'm using, as always, a little bit of my facial oil from Alison Jane. And whatever you do apply, it's going to penetrate in better and deeper, so if you can get really good quality products, that's even better. Massaging into the fingers and then just all along lower part of the face, by the side of the temples here, top of the jawline, under the jawline, and behind the ears, down by the side of the SEM muscle, down to the collarbone. So taking the pads of the fingers where our collarbone is, just above, we've got some indentations, and if you can just first of all give these a few gentle presses, what this does is it literally opens up the lymphatic gateway. Now we're going to be first of all working from the top, from the temporal muscle, working the masseter muscle, then the jawline, and then finishing off with the all-important lymphatic drainage. So taking our fingers here, where our ear is, to the top of the ear, and just slightly in front, you should feel a really sort of bone almost protruding from, it's almost the start of the masseter muscle, but the bottom of the temporal muscle. Gently breathing in, nice belly breath in for 4. And as you breathe out, melt the fingers into the skin for a few moments. Now, I'm a qualified facialist for the last 8 years, and I'm really passionate to help you on your skincare journey. So also, please comment down below and tell me if there's any other fascia techniques you'd love me to share with you. So when that's massaged, when that's actually melted into skin, taking the pads of the fingers without stretching the skin or anything and not dragging or pulling, just lifting up and down. And what we're doing here is we're actually unsticking any tight fascia glue on the bone. Now the fascia is a connective tissue throughout the whole of the system, almost a bit like in a webbing, sort of like a spider's web if you like, sort of webbing. And so it's in lots of different directions. And if this can get hard sometimes, it can also get a bit sticky and stick to the bone. And if it gets stuck to the bone, then you're not allowing for so many, say, nutrients or oxygen and detoxification. So what we're doing is we're really creating space. And then work heading towards, it's all vertically now, sorry, horizontally. First of all it was vertical, now it's horizontal. And we're working backwards and forwards. Making sure the whole face is nice and relaxed and you're not creating any tension anywhere. And then just give it a nice light massage out, round circular motions. So now we're going to do one side at a time, placing our hand onto the bone here by the cheekbone, taking our finger as a hook, just gently placing and holding, gentle belly breath in for 4 and melting into the skin onto that masseter muscle. Making sure again that the face is nice and relaxed. A little bit of pressure, and if it's a little bit tender, you can always ease off with the pressure. And then just very slowly gliding all the way down past the ear, along that masseter muscle towards the jawline area. Nice, slow and mindful. Again, not sticking any fascia glue or any tightness of fascia. Now this is actually really good to do these exercises in combination with facial yoga and facial massage as well. So then placing our other hand onto our cheekbone area here as an anchor, take the other finger, place and hold. Gentle belly breath in for 4 and breathe out and really melt that finger into the skin, onto the bone. And then just gently gliding along. And we're using the anchor, so with the other fingers, so we're not dragging at the skin. Nice relaxed face. Remembering to gently breathe. Now, if you can do these in a mirror, I always find it useful so you can see what you're actually doing and making sure that you're in correct alignment. And I also like to do these sitting down, but if you're standing up, that's fine too. Just making sure that your feet are literally parallel and your back is nice and straight and your head is nice and straight. You don't want to be shortening the neck. So nice and straight for maximum oxygen and blood flow to the neck and the head area. And then give it a little wiggle at the end. And then just nice gentle rub. We've really worked that masseter well. So we've worked literally where the temples are here, all the way down to the masseter muscle. So now let's work on the last part of our jawline fascial chain to really help strengthen and define the jawline. Again, we want to create more space so we're not, so for more literally nutrients and oxygen and blood flow. So we're going to take our fingers here, and again, one hand at a time, one hand as an anchor, finger as a hook, gently melt in, breathe in. And as you breathe out, melt into the skin. And then just slowly, slowly, without dragging the skin, work all the way along the jawline. Now, I'm not working completely at the top and not going right under either. So sort of almost in the middle where that bone is. Sort of almost on the edge of that mandible. Very, very slowly. The slower, the better. Now, you can do these 3 or 4 times a week. And obviously, if you want to spend a bit more time on a certain area, feel free to do so. Really melting in. And again, if you've got a little bit of tightness, you can always ease off with the pressure slightly. All the way along the mandible. Then when you get to the end, almost like the corner parts, just give a little wiggle at the end. And then on the other side, finger as a hook, gently placing the other hand as an anchor. Breathe in for 4. And breathe out and just melt into the skin. Face nice and relaxed, and then just slowly, with a fairly medium to firm touch, gliding along now, unsticking any of that fascia glue. Now, I have a book out now, if you'd like to check that in the description box, and it's literally the full fascia facial movement, if you like, the Fascia Lift Method. Working all the way along. Slow and mindful. And also comment down below, tell me how you're finding these. And again, if there's any other techniques you'd love me to share with you as well. And also where you're from. It's always nice to see where everybody is in the world. And then again, when you get to the end, that's at the end of that mandible, just give it a little wiggle at the end. So again, we've really worked hard on this fascia chain, if you like, for the jawline. So taking our thumb now under our chin, fingers above as hooks, working both sides at the time, just gently gliding all along the jawline area. Now we have plenty of lymph nodes under the jawline here, and we've now created more space now, so we'll end up with better blood flow and circulation, but also detoxification. Now we've created space, so we're heading towards the ears, very nice and lightly, where we have plenty of lymph nodes. And one last time. And then just coming in front of the ears, gliding down where we have those lymph nodes here, feather-like touch. Also working the lymph, which is very close to the surface of the skin as well. And then behind the ears, where we have plenty of lymph nodes. and then taking the fingers round circular motions. Let's work along the occipital bone. So basically the bottom of the head, the top of the neck, nice light round circular motion. And if you feel a little extra tender point, you can always give it a little massage out. We hold a lot of tension in the neck area. And then when the fingers are touching, one hand at a time, just gliding down very lightly down the big SCM muscle down to the collarbone, and on the other side. Always want to swallow when I'm doing this. You literally feel things moving along. And then from the chin all the way down, our beginning point, taking the pads of the fingers, if you can just give those a few gentle presses. And this will release all the toxins and waste remove within the jawline and the lower part of the face into the body, ready for elimination. Now, as always, I would highly recommend a glass of lukewarm water to really, one, hydrate the fascia, and two, to help with the lymphatic drainage, if you like. Please consider subscribing, liking and sharing, and check out my book in the description box down below. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, bye.